So everything is coming back full circle, but now I have a higher form of intelligence and definitely a very different energy than back in 2016, 2017, 2018. So it's interesting. There's a few coincidences. I was looking up somebody like on the internet and found out that their anniversary of their death was yesterday, and I didn't know it. And I'm like, oh my god! But made me look up this person just to look the person up, and so that was kind of coincidental. I've been listening to some of the Alex Jones stuff, like Endgame. Now listening through different ears. And I'm just like, oh Lord. I mean, he's right, but him selling supplements is not going to help anyone. And he's, out on his way out because he's blew up like a big, huge blueberry. So, and then I had dreams or something of a of a van left on the side of the road and had all this baby stuff. But it was a van that was crashed. And it was like in the back of my garden, and I was in that van just kind of checking it out because it was abandoned, and you could see the separation of the fence, my yard, and the freeway. And so somebody, in my dream, someone abandoned a van full of baby stuff that was strewn everywhere, and there was like little piles of where they were trying to clean up their mess with like milk in one area, diapers in another area. So I gotta look at it. I didn't Google what it means to look up a crashed baby stuff, but it was all baby accoutrements, baby accessories, baby needs, and it was an abandoned van. So I don't know what that means. Those of you that want to analyze it, feel free, have fun. And then I unblocked a few people from the past from the different religious groups because I had a lot of religious folk that really just glommed on to this information because the way the protocol was a few years ago, a lot of religions would follow it because it had a very scaled down diet. There were certain meats that were missing, like pork. And so they're like, oh, this is like the religious diet of God or Yah or this or that. And I'm just like, okay. And I just kind of went with it because I was just doing my thing, trying to figure out, moving through the protocol and seeing the results. So I unblocked a few people from the past, or at least one person. And this person, I guess, is on her way out the door. I doubt she's doing the J juice, and if she is, I doubt it. Because now she should be getting off and eating all the food supply. But I think the COVID is what is plaguing her right now at this point. And so somebody in her circle commented that she should be drinking pineapple juice because it's anti-inflammatory. It will reduce phlegm, and this person could be on their deathbed. I mean, I don't know exactly her whole situation, but a lot of people are praying for her. And so I'm assuming that there's some major stuff going on. And I haven't talked to her in the last couple of years, and I actually had blocked her because the reason why I blocked her is because she was laughing at one of my videos. And I'm just like, friends like this, you really don't need enemies. And there was nothing really to laugh at the video. And I hadn't heard anything really back from her as far as what her updates are. So I assume she's just now following me just to kind of, I don't know, who knows why. So I just, in my moment of like, whatever it is, I just blocked her and I just left it at that. Now, and so then I'm going back to what happened with that guy that catapulted me into the next hemisphere, who passed away in hospice, that everyone wanted to blame the J juice for. And even Wikipedia, if you go to Wikipedia, because they've outlined everything that happened back in 2017, 2018. And whoever it is that found, that person, when they were found that person dead, said specifically that he had pineapple juice in his hand. Now, back then, or even a couple of years ago, I would have made the connection that pineapple juice is anti-inflammatory. And since he was so emaciated at the time, anyone that's in hospice, emaciated, or having other issues cannot afford to bypass or cut off or dry up their first and second lines of defense. What's the first lines of defense? Sneezing, coughing, and mucus. Second lines of defense is diarrhea, barfing, and fever. And so when you're already cutting off the first lines of defense and you're in hospice, that ain't going to help you. If anything, that's going to speed up your expiration date. Now, if that guy would have drank it, like we did Jilly Juice, did a few resets, okay, it's a little painful, yeah, and ate all the food supply and dealt with the pain of eating food, which I'm thinking that probably was not going on. He didn't want to eat any food. And there was a specific diet back then, but there was no, you could eat chicken, you could eat, back then, potatoes, you could eat the vegetables. I mean, when a person's in hospice, they can't handle a lot of food anyways because they're in hospice, they're emaciated. So the diet back then would have probably been very good for him as he was transitioning back into the life world, not then disappearing and dissipating into the universe. And so even the diet back then probably would have been fine for him because he couldn't handle too much rich food, or he should have done like the baby food. Like some people in hospice need to go on baby food because they have issues with digesting and processing solid food. So baby food is like the next best thing besides drinking a liquid yogurt or smoothie diet. If you're just doing clear liquids, I don't know that's not going to help you. So that right there is proof enough. Without going into his background as far as all the medical stuff, all the practices, who knows what else the person was doing at the time of their death. But the fact that it's in black and white, it says the person passed away with apple juice, and that's anti-inflammatory. And why would he be drinking apple juice? Because probably the food brought up phlegm. Probably the Jilly Juice brought up phlegm, and he was trying to stop it, which is what people do today. And they wonder why their lifespan is cut short when they have to say all over Facebook, life is short, life is short, life is short. Well, no shit, when you're doing chemotherapy, radiation, pineapple juice, holistic allopathic, yeah, life is short because you're making it short. And so everything in the universe is letting me know things are coming full circle, and I now have the evidence and the substantiation to justify, well, the Jilly Juice was never killed anybody. The food supply never killed anybody. But the way people react to their life-giving symptoms, the way people react to their evolution, using things to suppress their evolution, the anti-inflammatories, all that crap out there, that's what caused their freaking death. Not something like energy and food. But the fact that they mean to suppress their first and second lines when the body then has no other choice but to trigger cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and then potentially die from that. Oh, but they're all quick to say life is short, life is short. You know, and then you see these memes about the vectors and like, I don't know what's in Advil, I don't know what's in this, I don't know what's in that, but I'm going to still take it anyways. And I don't know what's in these vectors, but I'm going to still take it anyways. Do I know what's in this food? Do I know what's in that? You should know what's in everything that you're eating. And if you don't know what is in everything that you're eating, just because you need to know, why? Like, I mean, yeah, so as long as it's FDA approved, but I mean, look, it's not that difficult to go do your own research and look up the ingredients and look up what this is. All of them are basically elements on the periodic tables or minerals your body needs. The stuff that's in the vectors, it's the spike proteins that will program your body to mRNA. So when you're exposed to COVID, it'll attack your evolution. You think you should not know this? If you want to pride yourself in ignorance, that is the society we live in. So people actually wear ignorance as a badge of fucking honor. And then they get mad at me when I'm like, no, you say you want to live, but you're doing everything that is the antithesis of, and then you pride yourself in being ignorant. That's what I see whenever someone posts about, I don't know what's in this, I don't know what's in that, but I trust science. That's the world that we fucking live in. That is the world we fucking live in. And so then when it's in black and white on Wikipedia, go to freaking Wikipedia, please, and go read all about the controversy of the J juice. And it will say in black and white, this guy had pineapple juice, an anti-inflammatory, in his hand at the time of his death when they found him sprawled on the floor, doubled over because his body couldn't take any more freaking anti-inflammatories. And then they want to go and blame salt. That was so convenient of the medical industry because somehow the gods of the medical industry knew that salt was actually the answer. That yes, it can be has a curative effect that also will put a person in decline, but it was never a killer. You can always balance out cures with food and then finally deal with the pain and deal with the new viruses. But salt was never the poison. It was the anti-inflammatories over years and years and years and years of practices, and then priding yourself and being ignorant about what the fuck you're taking into your body and why. Everyone out there that's taking any kind of therapeutic should understand what it is that it's actually doing. If they choose not to and they pass away, oh, but that's right, life is short, play hard. Oh, but I want to live, I get all these operations, I get this done and this tweaked and that tweaked. So you say you want to live, and then you pride yourself in the ignorance of not knowing what's in your food supply, which is okay. You don't have to know everything in the food supply. But you should know what it is you put in your body. Not that you need to stop putting things in, but you have to understand why you're doing things. Why are you eating? Why are you taking pineapple juice? Why are you doing chemotherapy? Why are you doing only turmeric and honey? Because that's part of the food supply, but why you're taking it and how much you're taking it and all that stuff, there should be some kind of knowledge, some kind of awareness of what the hell you're doing and putting into your body and why. And there isn't. And the pride of ignorance is so rampant out there. That's why I stay on my own. Because I can't deal with the ignorance out there. I can't deal with people purposely making choices. There are people out there making choices that are against the law out there. I'm staying away. I'm staying away from everybody, everything. I'm on my own until I don't know when. But I'll tell you this is the world that we live in. And so if you are one to understand that we are at the end game, if you watch Alex Jones's video Endgame on Change the Channel, CHANGEDA and then CHANNEL, that's the first YouTube account that I came across in the conspiracy world when I was looking for something about Obama, because I was so like triggered, like how the hell did we have a president who allowed the mortgage crisis? This is like weird. And so I'm looking up who Obama is because it just didn't strike me as anything kosher, but I had to do more research. And so I looked up on YouTube, and that's where I found the Obama deception, the Endgame, then Alex Jones and the conspiracy world. And that's what catapulted me and started me off down the freaking rabbit holes for like the last 10 years, right? And so watch that. And anyway, we are in a great reset. Stay home, stay safe. We are dealing with some crazy decisions that people are making, and justifications and rationalizations of why they're just going to succumb to the medical holistic industry. Some people are married to people who are in the medical industry, or probably pressured into doing all the things that are out there. And since they already have cancer, disease, and chronic illness, they probably feel they have no choice but to partake. And so you almost feel like, okay. And so the only way they can rationalize and justify and feel okay with their decision is then that meme about, oh, I don't know what's in this, I don't know what's in that, and so I still take it anyways because I trust science and the government, which, okay, I trust the government on certain aspects, not everything. There is a line that I draw when it comes to me and my relationship with the government, okay? There are definitely boundaries. Some people don't know their boundaries or don't know the boundaries, and so they basically give their body to somebody else and let them do all the stuff to it, make money off it, and then say, hey, everything is great. No, I have a relationship where I have boundaries with my government and with people out there in the world. And so, yes, my government will take care of my streets, will take care of the things that I do in a business sense. And when it comes to my health and my body, if I'm not imposing on somebody else, when it comes to me and my body and my autonomy, the government's out of my freaking body. 100%, unless I'm in an accident, and then I have triage. And so it's the last result where I put myself in a government institution is if I am unconscious and they want to keep me alive. And the chances of that actually happening are so rare, nil to none, that it's not even worth really just contemplating. But that would be the last result, unless, of course, yes, I said I would get a vaccine. Because at some point it's going to come to that. And so that's where I have to work with my government, because they have a valid point, because they have taught everybody not to deal with evolution. They have taught everyone not to deal with evolution. They have trained everybody. And so only a few of us on the Jilly Juice understand that pain is healing, that all symptoms are evolution. And so, no, we can't go back and tell the government, well, pain is evolution and we shouldn't have anything to stop the pain, and everyone should eat the food supply and stop going to the doctor's office. No, so they're going to say, okay, we don't want anyone to evolve. We don't want anyone to be passing along or activating their first lines and second lines. And so we'll find every way to stop up all your holes. Well, you can try. That's fine. I'll go and get that vector when I need to when I go in the fall or in the winter, after I before I submit my manuscript and talk about my feelings about what's going on with the vector. But that's the only thing that I will partake as far as medical wise, because they're going to find a way to justify. And the strategy in this microbial Hunger Games, because we're in a microbial Hunger Games, we're in the end game, okay, is the fact that you can survive your neighbor, your friend, your family, your community. Because, the rich are able to go out there on their yachts in their sprawling estates of like 50,000 acres with no one around except for them and their servants, who are probably all vectored and whoever knows what. And so they don't have to mix in with the common folk. So they're well insulated in their little communities. Well, you can be the wealthy and you stay home and stay safe, because here's the thing. Yeah, if you are doing the Jilly Juice, you can handle being around 40 people, but that's energy working against you. And that's a lot of things that you're going to have to deal with. And is it worth going to that concert? Is it worth hanging out with all of your little friends who aren't doing Jilly Juice, who don't understand the pain in the food supply, who don't want to feel pain at all? And so you're out there mutating things. You're out there doing whatever, not giving a crap. And so, your chemistry, your biochemistry can go and destroy somebody else, and you wouldn't even know it because you're having a good time. And so if you want to be like the wealthy, stay in your home. But I know that's so I don't want to be locked up in my home. Here's the thing. The world has changed. Maybe down the road, as things calm down, we'll have, people will be more acclimated. But there's a lot of people out there that are suffering with cancer disease, chronic illness, that have a lot of issues. And there is a great reset. So those people are being recycled faster because that's what their belief system is. Life is short, play hard, do whatever the hell you want. You can now. Hardly anyone's out there. Oh, I've been locked up for the last couple of years, so I'm going to go to a concert and mutate a virus and do this and do that. Okay. Well, there are unpredictable people out there. Unpredictable, that will do things. And do you want to be caught in the middle of between you and your car and some unpredictable people? No, at this point right now, I'm okay with hanging out with my dog, with hanging out with a neighbor, hanging out, with my husband. I'm okay with all of that. I have conditioned myself to really be very wary of the public, because yes, be wary of the public and people that you think you know or you thought you knew. Okay? And pride yourself in knowing how to be on your own, autonomous. Pride yourself in just finding ways to cultivate your house, cultivate your brain, cultivate your dependents, cultivate your dog. Make sure that they're going to survive this crazy ass environment, because yesterday I felt a lot of energy. I was eating chips left and right. No headache, a little tiny heat, but hardly any heat. But I was so hungry that I was eating chips. Nothing could satisfy until after maybe the fourth bag of chips and some cream cheese. And then I'm like, okay. And then I ate some dinner. And I hung out with our neighbor and my husband for a couple hours, just talking, just yucking it up. It was kind of cool. And so, and I'm fine with that. That's That's a great world to live in. And I'm writing and looking on Facebook and reading, learning stuff and dreaming and looking outside going like, oh, wow, they're saying it's going to be a very, very, very bitter cold over here in the U.S. this winter. Oh, I called that. Just knowing the indicators, what's going on with Ida and the fires in California, we're in a great reset. California is burning up. The hurricanes are kicking the South's ass. What else could go wrong? The whole thing with Kabul. Then we're heading into fall and winter, and then we have everybody all wondering about the mask, no mask, vax, no vax. I mean, if this isn't any kind of like sign that yes, this is now the kickoff to all the great reset. If this isn't a sign, then you are definitely under a rock and you're willing just to party it up until there's nothing left. And since I want to live, I'm going to just stay home. I'm going to cultivate my little tiny world right here. I'm not wealthy. I can't afford to be on a yacht and put pretty pictures with nice clothes and be an influencer on freaking Instagram. But I know how to stay alive and survive in these human habitation zones. I dare anyone to come over here and try to take any of my stuff. Because I am actually very, very fit when you think about it. No, I don't work out. But I have the human growth hormone that replenished my adrenaline, that replenished all of my muscles. I have a little bit of fat to keep the reserve so that way when I'm in cold or heat, I have the insulation. Okay? I have no issue with the food supply. I poop every single day. I drink a little coffee for some stuff. I have the mental clarity to write and to make connections. And so I'm fine in my world. And I offer you guys the same type of situation where you get your immediate world so figured out and well tuned that you have the room to grow. You have the room to develop. You have the room to evolve and innovate. And so when finally the world calms down and you're out and we go outside and the sun's shining and hardly anyone's out there because everyone's passed away and there's somebody over there way off, like in the zombie movies. Hey, beep, 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 beep. Anyone out there? Anyone alive out there? That may be what's going to happen, is that you'll be the only one left in your community and you'll have to use a CB radio to find whoever else out there is alive. They could be 10 miles away. I mean, that's pretty extreme, very dystopian. But it's not too far from the realm of possibility. That really is like a situation that I don't see it not happening. I think it might happen on some level. You might actually reach out to people on Facebook because there might be infrastructure there. It won't be just CB radio. But that's kind of the world we live in because it's pretty quiet out there. It's very quiet out there. As this virus moves through, because right now I'm looking at the maps of Ohio because we have the different health agencies are giving us updates on the schools, the communities, how many, the vaccination rates, how many people are in the hospital. And you're seeing the purple is like the South in Ohio, but it hasn't reached my area. So it's creeping up. The purple is creeping up. And I'm already seeing signs that people are dealing with the COVID. Their kids are dealing with COVID. There's being, the classes are being now done asynchronous learning, which I never knew that word existed as far as learning, but that means that you're learning on your own flexible schedule. So there's already now kids are working remotely because, when you have a bunch of kids who don't have the means to really, be asymptomatic because kids are evolving, they're going to take the whatever virus out there and mutate the crap out of it and pass it along to each other and bring it home. And then you have a pandemic in the school system. I mean, come on. Even a mask can work a tiny bit, but not 100%. And so so I'm watching the purple creep up on this map. Like you can see by the next couple of weeks, it's going to creep up even more. And we're going to be in the purple. And there's going to be a lot more shit going on. And then with the refugees being supplanted in different places. Oh my God. And so I just say, you know what? I'm okay with staying home. I don't need to be out there with a bunch of people. I really don't. And so thank God I was conditioned and I had the sense to understand why they conditioned us to stay home, because now they've given you a choice. You can go out there and be around everybody and yuck it up and whatever and say, oh yeah, nothing's going on. And then have to go and fight the de-evolution and by trying to evolve and being taken down for a week or so relative to what's going on. Or you stay home because you've been conditioned that, you know what? all you really need is food, water, a little bit of entertainment, information, shelter, climate control, and you need every single bit of your intelligence to get you through this next 6 months, because winter is going to be a doozy for those in the West, and at least in the U.S. and probably even in the U.K. because you guys have snow right now. It's those in the southern hemisphere that are dealing with the high heat, probably fires over there in Australia and New Zealand. They've already had their winter. Now we're going to get ours. And so I don't know. It's a little bit trippy how aligned I am with the universe without even really knowing I'm aligned. And it's interesting how everything comes full circle. And now I can finally figure out why pineapple juice was so significant, but I didn't really figure out what it was until somebody from the past that I unblocked, somebody on their comment Facebook was saying, "Oh yeah, drink some pineapple juice," which I've said before, people, back when I was doing the cures and all the different remedies. Yeah, drink some pineapple juice because it'll stop with the phlegm. It has bromide. And that's what I was doing when I was in the middle of the J juice. I was drinking as pineapple juice because all this phlegm was coming up. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And I'm drinking pineapple juice. But I didn't make the connection until I figured out that, oh my God, that's cutting off your first and second lines of defense. And then, aha. And then, oh shit. And people are telling that to their friends who are suffering from COVID and everything else. Good luck, everybody. You're going to need it. Bye.